Coming up next on About the Money, there's a manufacturing boom in Washington State, and you'd never guess who's driving it.
You know, I've got these mom and pop companies that over about the last 5 to 10 years have really learned how to export to foreign markets, and they are going like gangbusters right now.
We'll see how the state's small manufacturers are making a big impact on the global market and creating new opportunities for blue-collar workers.
With good jobs that they can, buy houses and cars and live well and raise families. And
all that plus Rick Steves on your travel dollar and Bill Smead on your investments, just ahead on About the Money.
Production of About the Money is made possible in part by Russell Investments, focusing on improving financial security for people worldwide. Russell has more than $220 billion in assets under management and serves individual, institutional, and advisor clients in more than 40 countries. And by the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions, offering Washington homeowners information to help deal with rising adjustable rate mortgages. Online at dfi.wa.gov. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Christine Chen. Since 1950, American industry has been in decline, leaving behind a rust belt of closed factories and lost jobs. That's what makes this story all the more surprising. Here in Washington State, we are actually having a manufacturing boom. In 2006, Washington's manufacturing revenues grew 16%, much faster than the overall economy. Manufacturing earned $122 billion, making it by far the biggest revenue sector in the state, bigger than retail, service, real estate, and computers. Let's go behind the headlines with the good news about manufacturing in Washington State. There is no rust belt in Washington State. While manufacturing has declined in other parts of the country, its revenues are growing here. Why? We asked Dave Gehring at Manufacturing Industrial Council.
What has changed is because of globalization, people who make retail items, especially items like clothing, toys, electronic gear, things that are relatively simple to make that have employed millions of people in the United States through the years, that stuff is hurting. The other part of manufacturing that's made up of things that are never sold at a Walmart, that can't be sold at Sears, is what is still driving the manufacturing base of this country. It's Boeing airplanes, it's Caterpillar heavy equipment, John Deere tractors. We've always made, for the most part, what are called capital goods, equipment, supplies, machinery for industry. And that part of this economy is incredibly strong.
A big part of Washington's manufacturing strength is Boeing.
It's the bell cow. And we sometimes lose sight of the fact that Boeing right now is not just doing good, it is doing great.
Boeing airplanes are the state's leading export, and revenues from those airplanes have grown 43% since 2004. Even with the loss of the Air Force tanker contract, there's a lot of work stacked up for the state's leading manufacturer.
The tanker contract with the Air Force is no doubt a real lost opportunity. But man, they have got a lot of work there to do just in the commercial airplane division right now. And boy, assuming the world economy holds up, they should be going gangbusters for a long time.
As well as Boeing has been doing, though, an even bigger boom is coming from thousands of smaller companies like Muller Design. This Seattle-based fabricator turns 3D images into prototypes and products for a wide variety of industrial clients. And not far away, B&G Machine rebuilds diesel engines and components. Some 5,000 companies like these, small fabricators and machine shops, nearly doubled their revenues from 2002 to 2006.
You know, I've got these mom and pop companies that over about the last 5 to 10 years have really learned how to export to foreign markets, and they are going like gangbusters right now.
B&G is a good example. It's a family enterprise run by John Bianchi and his sons Johnny and David. When Dad founded the business back in 1986, it was a small machine shop selling mostly within the state. Now B&G has found a global niche, rebuilding the huge diesel engines that drive mining equipment.
most of these engines are in mining haul trucks, and they're in mining dozers somewhere in basically the Powder River Basin through northern Nevada, Utah, down into Mexico, and then through South America, working in hard rock mines, coal mines, copper, gold, other types of ore in Alaska. And we focused on that market segment because they're running their engines 24 hours a day. And so there's always a market need there because they're rebuilding their engines every 2 or 3 years, and there's lots and lots of them.
That business has brought a lot of growth to B&G.
We've actually grown. We've gone from 25 to 50 some employees in the last few years, in the last 7 or 8 years, and we're probably 5 times the sales that we were, and we've been able to be profitable doing that.
Along with the growth in these companies has come a boom in blue-collar jobs.
Everything, from the white-collar aspects of this to the craft positions, from the need for engineers, designers, salespeople, management people, to craft people.
Companies like B&G are having trouble finding enough skilled workers for good-paying jobs.
Unfortunately, I think that there's a lot of people that are just sort of left behind by it. I think that the focus is to get kids into 4-year colleges and to churn them out and into professional jobs, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think it's for everybody. And I think there's an awful lot of people that are in the school systems, as public and private schools, that can find a place in Seattle and in the Seattle area with good jobs that they can, buy houses and cars and live well and raise families. And
those opportunities are likely to continue, along with the growth in Washington's manufacturing sector. The fact is, these businesses have a big advantage in the global market. Location, location, location.
The Port of Seattle and the Port of Tacoma, they give us access to container traffic, in and out of the country. U.S. Customs is right here. We've got, good rail system that comes right through Seattle. We've got intermodal truck freight access right over to I-90 and I-5. I mean, we can get to the Pacific Rim. We can get to Russia. We can get to India. You can get to Dubai. You can get to Santiago, Chile. You can get, through the Panama Canal. And you can get your goods on and off of trucks and on and off, of railroad cars.
And Washington manufacturers are perfectly situated to service the flourishing energy and natural resource industries in Western Canada and Alaska.
Seattle, look at where we're at on a map. We are at the absolute crossroads of that region. We're the commercial hub and in some ways a capital city of that economic region, and it's still full of resources, full of growth opportunity, very exciting part of the world to be in.
You can find links to more information about Washington manufacturing on our website, kcts.org/aboutthemoney.